Melee lover, hater, or indifferent, everyone was curious to see as to how these top players would match up at the first Smash Ultimate Summit. Would their top player prowess carry them to victory, or would their inexperience with newer Smash titles spell their doom at this hyper-competitive event? I'm going to talk first about how each player did overall, and then dive into some of their sets to break down each player's decision-making process to see what you can take away from their performances at Ultimate Summit. The most impressive run from a Melee player at Summit had to have been Armada, who was able to take a set over Zero and place 9th. His fellow Swede Leffen also placed 9th, but his only notable wins were either over other Melee players or ZD, who seemed to be the punching bag for Team Melee. Heck, even Mewtwo King beat ZD and Mango and was able to place 9th. Plup was also only able to take a set off of his fellow Melee man Mango, and Mango just sort of seemed to be there to have beers and play Mafia. Overall, not a disappointing showing from Team Melee, but they definitely weren't to the same caliber as some of the top Ultimate players. Still, they showed they had some good individual skill, and I really think that their best strength came with their overall top-level experience and ability to stay calm under pressure. This was what I believed propelled Armada to his upset over Zero, and it's what I want to highlight now. Armada's overall patience was what really won him this game, and it's really highlighted in these last two stocks that he takes in order to win the set. He's down a good amount, but he just plays it extremely smartly, and doesn't go for anything too out of the ordinary. He doesn't overextend, and I think a part of this comes from the fact that he knows he can't cover himself from overextending. If this were a game he were more experienced in, such as Melee, he could go for something wild, but here in Ultimate, he knows exactly what he can and can't do, and that's something that a lot of top players are really good at, just knowing what they can't do. So right here we start off. Armada he's in a rough spot. He's off stage, he smartly recovers, but he's continually getting ledge trapped by Zero. He's eventually able to get up with a well-timed dash attack. He's eventually able to get up with a well-timed get-up attack and continue up this pressure. He shields that blaster and is able to now send Wolf off stage. And this is where really his patience and knowing exactly what he needs to do comes in. Armada's very smart in a lot of these matches in which he has to edge guard, and I think this comes from the fact that in Melee you want to edge guard a lot, not just ledge trap. And so what he smartly does is he continues to jump off to apply pressure against Zero, forcing Zero to go low for this recovery, and then again just very smartly jumping off, using that forward air, and getting the edge guard. So now it's even. Armada is still down though, so he has to bring this back somehow, and although he doesn't have the craziest tech skill, he still has the good bread and butter combo, so he's able to get these up airs, continue it up. He drops his string there. He could have continued those hits, but now he's just very smartly ledge trapping, just trying to get this end. He again goes for an edge guard. Now there is where he doesn't exactly overextend, but he knows what his win condition is, and it's that edge guard. He really wants it. Of course, he doesn't get it there, but it's showing his smartness and just knowing what he has to go for. And so he just recovers back, continues up this pressure, smartly weaving in and out of Zero's attacks. An unsafe dash attack on shield, but not going to get him punished too hard. They trade, continuing to go back and forth. And this roller, he catches Zero swinging with that forward tilt, and because Zero had that just sort of thrown out early, sort of preemptively, Armada's patience then pays off, as he's able to go for this roller slightly slower because it has that startup, but that startup's going to be done and he's going to be hitting him right after Zero's forward tilt ends, so it's perfectly timed. He's able to cancel it into this forward smash, and they think it ends the set, but it doesn't actually. And so he very smartly just goes out for this edge guard. He applies pressure with his back air, and Zero recovers high. Very good from him, and they're just going to continue this neutral back and forth, but Armada's not going to choke here. He knows what he wants. He wants that roller, of course, but he's going to scare Zero with it, force him into shield, then get a grab, throw him off stage. He goes for the splat bomb. Zero air dodges to ledge. He gets this back air, and at this point, this is where he comes in again with that win condition. He knows one edge guard takes this entire thing. Zero's got to be the one feeling the pressure. Yes, these are two god tier players, But at the same time, Zero's down by 1, and he hasn't been grinding ultimate that hard. And so Armada goes off for this edge guard and forces Zero to fade so far back that he's just not going to be able to recover, and Armada's going to take this game. So we looked at what Armada was doing right and just knowing his win condition, and I think the same thing can be seen with Mewtwo King. Mewtwo King doesn't always constantly have to outplay his opponent. He just needs to get those crucial hits, and a lot of that comes with his edge guarding. He was able to take the set over ZD. I think part of it, he's fighting a Fox. Foxes are traditionally comfortable matchup for melee players. Of course, it's still going to be kind of weird, because although a lot of the edge guarding stuff may be similar, a lot of the neutral game is very different than in melee. And so in this first game, he really just shows his edge guarding prowess when he's able to throw his opponent off stage, immediately cover that quick option with the forward air, and continue this pressure up using the floatiness of Lucina to just sort of wait and get that forward air. Of course, edge guarding isn't the only way that these melee players are able to get these crucial hits. There's also just the fact of knowing which moves are stronger and what will kill. They don't always need to put their opponents at a higher percent, but instead they can just keep going back and forth and get that kill option right when they need it most to clutch out the game. And that's what happens here in our next example. It's the end of the final game. Mewtwo King is playing Bowser, and he's forced ZD onto Falco. He's able to jump up. He's sort of getting comboed. You know, Falco, the much faster, more agile character to just do these combos, but he very smartly just ZD getting impatient, going for that forward smash. It's not very safe of an option from him, and I think it shows some of his inexperience, and he just sort of panicked a little bit in that time, and so Mewtwo King very smartly punishes it with a back air, stealing out the game. All he had to do was wait for his opponent to make that one mistake, and he could go in with the strongest punish possible. Something that these melee players are very good at, even if the tech skill / neutral might not seem to be there. Now finally here, I want to show this game of Leffen versus Armada, and tell you why I think that it shows that Leffen's the strongest at Ultimate right now. At least specifically as far as neutral game, matchups, all that stuff goes. And it just comes in this example of his smart play in order to take the stock off of Armada, where he just backs up and starts throwing these Razor Leafs. And Razor Leaf is something that can be very useful in a lot of matchups. And this is one especially because Armada's going to want to be that, grounded, dash dancing type of player. Yes, he does love his aerials, but Inkling's just so good on the ground, you can't ignore that. And so Leffen's very smartly able to cut these off, but as soon as he sees Armada trying to approach, because Armada has to go high for his approach, it's unlikely that he's going to go for a grab unless he goes for a tomahawk, but that would still get caught out by a Razor Leaf. So Leffen just waits in shield, waits for that aerial and gets a punish. He continues with this pressure, getting these back airs, and although he does have a lot of matchup knowledge, he also knows his combos well, and he's able to get this string and catch out Armada's jump. He tries to read a high recovery, which kind of weird, but, you do you, Leffen. Still good to at least cover something rather than just waiting and doing nothing. And now he's just waiting for this lead trap opportunity. He gives Armada stage, but he's going to just continue with these Razor Leafs, and Armada has to, stay in the air and sort of stay back. And then he finally just tries to read that jump there with that up air. Not going to get it, but still keeping Armada scared because he's forced Armada into the air with these Razor Leafs, and he's got a clear game plan on what he wants to do with those up airs. He gets punished for that roll-in, but he just gets right back to stage, gets a grab, gets a back throw, and takes the stock. Be it Leffen's strong game plan, Armada's amazing composure, or Mewtwo King's ability to find the crucial hits when he needs them, these melee players have proven themselves at Summit. And although there were no breakout performances from them, they still solidified themselves as good Ultimate players. And I don't think they're going to be just completely going away as this game advances. So yeah, there you have it. Just taking a look at these melee players and seeing how well they did at Summit. If you enjoyed this analytical content, be sure to hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.